Hey everyone, I'm AmyJay and this is the AmyJay Way. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of my tomato plants. So this is my first year with this garden. I built these 4 feet by 8 feet beds. There's 7 of them all together. You can probably see them all. And I've just kind of planted a hodgepodge of everything in them. But today we're going to focus on tomatoes. I have about 30 varieties of tomatoes here. I didn't really duplicate very many of them unless I needed to. But first we're going to start with this one here, and this one is a paste tomato. It is very, 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 very prolific. It's called a San Marzano, and it's a very, very, it's not very tall, but it's got over 50 fruit on it. So, and they're doing really well. So that's the first one. Right next to that is a very tall tomato called Chadwick cherry. And this one has beautiful green shoulders so far. Aren't those pretty? It's starting to blush a little bit down in the bottom there. You can see that right there, that tomato there. He's getting a little pink blush on him. So it's another one that's producing a lot of tomatoes all the way up to the top, which is a foot above my head, and I'm 5'8". So the next one we've got here is another paste tomato, and it is called Opalka, and it's another one that's producing really well. It's got lots and lots of fruit, and they're fairly large too, especially the bottom fruit sets. Like, look at how big that is on my hand. They're very, very large fruits. So that one is Opalka. Beside that is the one I'm happy about this year. It's starting to get one little blushing fruit. And this one is called Blueberries, and it's a Wild Boar Farms introduction. I got it through Baker Creek. So it's got really, really beautiful purple shoulders. It's a small size, just a cherry, but boy oh boy, it's got a lot of fruit on it. Like, look at the trusses of fruit. Like, super, super productive. Just everywhere I look, like even into the other plants, it's setting all kinds of fruit. So yeah, and it only does the purple where the sun hits it. So the top ones are very, very purple on the top, and as you go down you get like a lighter blush. That one's got almost none on it, and then the very bottom, they don't have really any purple on them at all. So yeah, and I've been really happy with how that plant has been producing. Next one over is a Delicious, and it's got a lot of fruit on the bottom, like a lot of fruit and big fruit. Probably the biggest one is around a pound or so. There's a couple there that might hit a pound. But it's at a lot of fruit early on. As you get bigger or taller, there's not a whole lot of fruit set. So I'm not quite sure what happened in there, but anywho, next one over. This is another Wild Boar Farms, I believe. It's Berry's Crazy Cherry Tomato. Each individual truss can have up to 50 tomatoes on it. I haven't been getting 50, but I've been getting a lot of tomatoes. Like, look at all of the tomatoes set on that. It's just amazing. Imagine if all of those flowers would have set fruit. So the thing would have burst right out of the tomato cage I built. Speaking of which, these are my tomato cages that I built. They're 4 feet tall, and you can see how big some of these tomatoes are because they're like a lot taller than the cages. So yeah, I just bought a roll of wire, 2-inch by 4-inch holes, and then I cut them with a pair of tin snips and then bent the little pieces back around, and that's my tomato cage, and it's been very, very sturdy. So the bottom of them, I cut off the bottom ring, like the bottom ring like this, to make a bunch of pegs that are stuck in the ground. Look at all that guy's starting to ripen up a little bit in there too. Now Barry's Crazy Cherry is a yellow tomato, so that one right there, it's getting ripe. And these pretty little marigolds. Marigolds were my mother's favorite flower. I've never actually liked them until this year. My mother passed away, and I bought a flat of marigolds, kind of in her memory, but kind of just to keep the bugs away from my tomatoes. And every time I see one that's gotten ripe, I just pull out the seeds and sprinkle them around, and look, I'm getting little babies. So all I gotta do is just sprinkle them around. That one might have been a little less than ripe, but yeah. So look at how pretty those are. And the squirrels have graced my garden with their own planting of very, very lovely sunflowers. Alright, so there's just one more tomato in here, and it is called Chadwick Cherry. And it is a very, very prolific tomato as well. Look at all those tomatoes in there. It's a saladette size, a couple ounces, and it will have dark shoulders on it, I believe, when it's all ready to go. It's not quite as tall as the other ones, but that hasn't stopped it from setting a lot of fruit. Maybe I can get a better view from over here. You can see in there. Yeah. So that's Chadwick Cherry, also known as Camp Joy. So this one here, I have no idea what it is, because it did not have a tag on it when I planted it. It was just an extra one that I had reused the tag, and I was going to compost the seedling, and then I had an extra space in the garden, so I just popped it in there. No harm. It's getting a few tomatoes on it. It went in really late, so I'm happy it's producing anything at all. But so it's got a couple of little tomatoes on it. Nothing spectacular, but even if it was, I wouldn't know what kind it was anyway, so maybe it's just as well, I don't know. And then on the other side here, this one is a great white. Now you'll see I don't really do a whole lot of pruning. I've pulled off suckers early in the season, and then as it got taller, I just let it go. And a lot of them, I've been kind of pulling off the bottom leaves as I go, as they are showing signs of disease. And they've actually been really good this year. So this one is a great white. And when it matures, it'll be like a whitish ivory color. Really, really pretty tomato. A little bit fuzzy. Yeah, so yeah, not great fruit set, but the ones that have set look really good. No sign of blossom end rot or anything. This one's kind of stuck in the... Oh. Oh, stuck in the, look at that. It was stuck right in the wire. Yeah, so that is Great White. Next bed. This one is another delicious. Also an extra one, but this one actually had the tag. It got planted pretty late, but it's actually doing better than the other one as far as the number and the size of fruit on it. It's got a few trusses on it, and the fruits on it are probably in the 1 pound range, I would say, the bigger ones. And it's got fruit set all the way to the top. So then beside that is, oh my gosh, this thing is huge. It's huge. I'm almost afraid to touch it. But this one is a pink Oxheart. Isn't that a weird looking thing? So yeah, I haven't grown these before. Actually, I've never grown any Oxheart types. My hand is stuck. There we go. I've never grown any Oxheart type tomatoes. So I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on these because they're so heavy and they're getting so big they're starting to split. See right in here, this one is starting to split a little bit down the side. So if it gets much worse than that, I'm gonna probably pick them. But yeah, it's got really, like that other earlier tomato, it's got really heavy fruit set along the bottom and then nothing at the top. So then moving along over here, we've got this one, and I'm just gonna see if I can see a tag for this one. Oh, it's way over on the other side. So this one, not quite sure what it is, but as you can see, it's got really beautiful trusses. Look at all of those little guys on that one truss. And it's got some, oh, I know what it is, just looking at it. It's a Sungold. It's a Sungold tomato. So yeah, it's got some beautiful tomatoes on it. Lots and lots. And it's starting to get ripe. In fact, it looks like something's been snacking over there. There's a couple missing. So that's that guy. And then this one, this is a triple crop. It's got a little tiny bit of cat facing on the bottom of that guy and a little bit on that one. And the tomatoes are not huge, but this is another one that got in late, probably mid-June. So for 3 months, not too bad, but it's only got 3 tomatoes on it, so a little less than impressive. But I'll probably try this one again next year if I have space. And then I just planted these 3. This one actually is so tiny because it was a sucker and I just popped it in the ground, so it probably won't do anything. This one is, let me see here, Pruden's Purple. This one got in super late. It doesn't even have any tomatoes on it yet. It's just got a few little flowers at the top, which probably won't do anything because it's almost the end of August. So, and then this guy is Brad's Atomic Grape. And it's another one that was a late start. I planted these ones mid-June. Planted them out in the garden late June. And yeah, it's only about 2 feet tall. But it's got a few tomatoes on. I can at least try the variety, see if I like it. I might plant one next year. I need a close-up from this kind of angle. Those are very beautiful. It's like a hornworm or something got that one, but look at how pretty those are. Aren't those gorgeous? They just look like the blueberries ones, only bigger. They're probably about twice as big at least. And I think they're not close to being ready yet. But yeah, that's very cool. Alright, so this one is called Marglobe Supreme. And I think it's got one of the biggest tomatoes on it so far. Aside from maybe the Oxheart. Let's just move this over. This is my compost bin. I put all my stuff I pull out of the gardens in there. Compost it. This one here. I don't know if I can get a good picture. Good video. But you can see it's almost as big as my hand. It's huge. That's probably close to being a 2-pound tomato. I'll have to do a weigh-in on camera. I've got a few on here. They're all pretty small yet. But yeah, this one I believe I told you was a Marglobe Supreme. So, and it's got some all the way up to the top. Next one, this one's got quite a bit of cat facing on the one back there. I've been pulling a few off of here that have been all cat faced. So what that means is that it had a fused blossom. And a fused blossom is more than one blossom that are kind of growing all together. So when they grow together, it's called fasciation. And what happens is, when you get a fasciated blossom, you get a tomato that's like a cluster of tomatoes that are all grown together. And you get something that looks like that. And it's called cat facing. It's like just a pretty ugly tomato. A lot of them get rotten inside and they're not usable, but I would like to keep that one and see what it does. So, alright, this one, I am unsure what it is. Let me see here. This one is a German pink. So yeah, it's an heirloom. Most of these are heirlooms, but this one is an old heirloom, and it is prone to cat facing. So, next one on the list is, ooh, very close. So this one is called Garden Peach, and I don't know if you can really see. It's fuzzy like a peach. That's a pretty good shot of that. Yeah, very, very fuzzy. It's really soft. It feels really weird for a tomato, but it feels kind of like a peach. And it's called Garden Peach, and it's got quite a few tomatoes on it, so if it's got a good taste, this is one that's definitely coming back another year. It did really well for fruit set. It's got them all the way up. Next to that, we've got a Creole. And this one also has a few bigger tomatoes on it. That one is a good size. You can't really see it, but take my word for it, it's big. So yeah, that's Creole. And this one next to it is an Amish Paste. And you can kind of see it's kind of got that Oxheart kind of shape to it a little bit. The pointy bottom. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed with this one. Never really said a whole lot. And the ones that did set are not very big at all. I may try it again if it tastes really good, but if it doesn't produce really good, I may forego it. So then the next one over, it's got a lot of fruit on one part of it. The wind's starting to pick up here, so sorry about that. And this one is, just grab the tag here. This guy is a black Krim. So I've never grown a black Krim before, but I've been assured they taste wonderful. A lot of that old-fashioned tomato taste. So yeah, that's a black Krim. And then, almost done here. That little tiny guy down there he's really small. He's only like 1.5 feet tall, if that. He's starting to get some ripe So we've got one in there that's starting to blush. Right there, if you can see it. And it's called Manitoba. And it is, you can't really see it very well because it's kind of flopped over a little bit. My staking kind of failed. It's loaded down with tomatoes. It's probably the most prolific one out here for its size. And then the one next to it is Celebrity. And it also has quite a few tomatoes on it. And they're all kind of a medium size. So yeah, so that's all of them in the garden. I have a few on the deck. There's another sunflower planted by the critters. And I've got 2 more, and this one actually had a deer reach over the fence, bent the fence, and ate the top of it off. There we've got another one. They sure do like planting sunflowers in here, don't they? Aren't they pretty? So cheerful. Anyway, I will be talking to you soon. I'm gonna do a video on my tomatoes on my deck in planters. So, look forward to that. We'll be talking to you soon. This has been Amy J, and this is the AmyJay Way. Have a good night.